Today we're going to be speaking with a nano-influencer about the media kit that helped her score her first brand deal. I'm Justin Moore. Welcome to Creator Wizard, your step-by-step guide to the business of being a creator. In my series, My First Brand Deal, I interview creators and influencers about their first deals and the lessons they've learned over the years working with brands. But before we get started, make sure to click the link below to get a downloadable checklist of all the factors you need to consider when figuring out how much to charge for brand deals. So today we're going to be chatting with Jen Lauren, who creates content about self-care, NYC, and wellness on YouTube and Instagram. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So to start off, can you talk a little bit about why you started creating content on social media to begin with?
Yeah, it honestly goes back to college where I first started getting, myself into the whole of YouTube as a viewer. I was obsessed with Lauren Elizabeth, just completely as a viewer. At the time, being real and raw and vulnerable wasn't as on trend as it is now. And she was really open just about anxiety and mental health. And I thought that was just so cool, to be honest. And it really helped me just stay confident and realize that, mental health and anxiety is something we all struggle with. So that's sort of where the seed planted, where I was like, oh, this is actually something that I would love to be able to do for someone else one day. And then after college, I was living in New York City. I was still thinking about it. I started listening to Erica Vieira's Beauty and the Vlog podcast. I don't know if you've heard of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has an amazing podcast. She interviews YouTubers. And at the time, it was sort of the only podcast that I knew of that was doing that. So I was just learning, absorbing. And then living in New York City, was always trying out new workout classes. Like that was my hobby, my favorite thing to do. And I would look up on YouTube reviews, and I noticed there were some Instagram accounts doing it, but there were no YouTube accounts reviewing New York City workout classes. So I was like, this is it. I've been hearing Erica say on the podcast, and everything that I look at is saying like, find your niche, find your niche. And I'm like, this is my niche. This is perfect. So I just started, I got a camera for graduation for my parents. So I had one for a little bit, but then once I finally, figured out my niche, I was like, we're going to do it. But then I realized with a full-time job, I was really only able to do that like once a month. So I was not super consistent enough. I mean, I did it once a month, but not enough to actually see growth. So once quarantine hit about 9 months ago now, I rebranded, re-strategized, and I was like, this is what I'm going to spend my time doing while locked up at home. And I started doing a video once a week, and I stuck with the online workout class review for once a month, but then I filled in the other weeks with just general lifestyle content. And since then I've seen growth just gradually on the rise, and I got monetized, and here we are.
Congratulations. That's a
Thank
big
you.
milestone.
Thank you.
So at what point did you realize that you could actually make money from creating content? I mean,
Crazy,
I think
right?
I read that yeah, no, for real, right?
Yeah.
And I think I read that in the beginning when you were doing the workout class reviews, sometimes they would comp the classes, which is meaningful, right? Because then you don't have to
Yeah,
pay for it, right?
exactly.
And so that's a benefit in the beginning. But at what point did you realize, okay, wow, I can actually make actual money doing this?
Yeah. Honestly, not until about 6 months ago when I got monetized. I thought I learned. So taking it a little back, when I first started my channel, I actually ended up doing Erica Vieira's bootcamp for YouTubers. And that's when I even learned what the partner program was, which was, you have to get 1,000 subscribers and 40,000 watch hours to get monetized on YouTube. Didn't even know what that meant, monetized on YouTube. I was just like, okay, just continued making my content. And then I realized once I got monetized, oh, I'm making like $200 a month. Thought it was going to be like $2. It's like substantial money. So I, first of all, realized when I saw that ad revenue sticker once I got monetized, but I just started getting more involved in the YouTuber community and joining. Natalie Barbu is an amazing YouTuber that I look up to, and she has a Patreon channel for $3 a month, and she just gives all these social media tips, and that's where I learned. And also just on other people's YouTube platforms talking about it. I started watching videos on monetizing your YouTube channel, diversifying your income. And I just started learning more and more from there. And on Natalie's Patreon channel and these YouTube videos, I realized, oh, there's an Amazon affiliates program where you can link everything you're mentioning in your video on Amazon, put it in the description, and then you get, I mean, like a cent from every purchase from that. But from there, just like how to work with fans, and it's really just tapping into that community that's built through the Patreon channel and other YouTube channels that I just started learning more and more.
Super interesting. And so you were recently interviewed by Business Insider, and you shared a media kit that you had put together, right? And so
Yeah.
at what point did you decide to put that together? I mean, is that something like you had reached out to a brand and they asked you for your media kit, or what made you do that?
Yeah, exactly. So I have a video on my channel that's along the lines of, I think it's titled, I hired a professional organizer for my New York City studio apartment. And I was hoping to collaborate and partner with an organization company for that. So I forget what company it was, and it didn't even end up working out, but this was like one of the first times I started reaching out for brand collaborations, and they asked me for my media kit. And I was like, uh, what's that? So again, I tapped into that Patreon community. I asked around, I looked into, there's so many blog posts and articles, and people have examples, just like the article that is now out there on Business Insider with my exact media kit. There are so many resources out there where I tapped into Natalie's Patreon community, and they were all like, oh, just go on Canva. So I went on canva.com and I realized, oh, it seems so intimidating at first. Like, I don't know how to design this. I'm not like a graphic designer. But so Canva had like all of the design and layouts already there for me. And all I had to do was plug in my demographics, throw some pictures on there. It took like 30 minutes. I sent it to them, acted like I, had it forever. And now I just update it every time I send it out.
Absolutely. So that's really interesting that you're relying on these other communities like on Patreon or, I've heard there's a lot of like private Facebook groups and things like that where creators can help each other out. Cause I think that's a big, somehow this whole topic is taboo, right? Like making money, like talking about brands, sharing brand contacts, which is why I admired you being so transparent in your interview with Business Insider, because, like creators are only as a collective going to be able to grow and get better
100%.
By helping each other out.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's super interesting. And so I also read that you recently got your first brand deal, which is super exciting.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about how that came together.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start from sort of the top, which is I learned about, brand deals in general. And I was like, I'm a PR girl at heart. My full-time job for years has been PR. So I was like, I can do this. I know how to pitch. I know like how to pull contacts. So I started by just getting super excited and reaching out to everyone with a pretty general pitch, and then wasn't hearing much back. And I realized, okay, let's take a step back. If I were the brand, what would I want to hear? They're probably getting so many of these emails. And so I took a step back. I wrote down like all of my dream brand collaborations. Some of them, most of them, I haven't even reached out to yet because I want to be super intentional and reach out once there's like a perfect opportunity and a video that I have coming up that would be a seamless collaboration. So for this brand, it's called Epicured. It's a meal delivery service for low FODMAP eaters, which is basically people who struggle with IBS, and it's an elimination diet. So very niche, very specific. And I looked at all the videos that I had coming up in my content calendar, compared with also my analytics of which videos get me the most subscribers, the most views, which are the most popular. And I realized some of my most popular videos that have gotten me a lot of subscribers is the what I eat in a day with IBS. I think, again, you're talking about taboo topics. I think, just being real and vulnerable about like stomach issues on the internet maybe isn't so glamorous. So people relate to it and they subscribe. So from there, I realized, okay, well, I'm doing this elimination diet in a few weeks. And there's this meal delivery service that provides people on that diet with food. So I was like, this is perfect. I know that I've sort of looked into reviews of them on YouTube before for my own like selfish consumer curiosity. And I knew that some of my viewers would be curious as well. So I reached out. I said, I have this video coming up. I linked to my past similar videos on the topic that have done really well so they could see the views and the engagement in the comment section. And I said, this is how I would like to collaborate. I'd like to try out your meals for a week, etc. And had the title and everything. So they had a super clear vision of what I was asking for and what they could get out of it. And they responded. They were super, super into it because I had an actual vision and intention. And then they said that they would, I asked what their budget was for it, and they said that they would do, I believe, don't quote me, I believe it was like 250 or 300 for, to be able to use my videos and the unboxing in their advertisement. So I think that's also a common misconception with content creators. It's like, oh, they're just getting paid to like say a brand name, but no, we're actually creating video footage that they can then use in their advertisements. So they're paying us to actually do production and be talent and all of that. So yeah, that's sort of how it happened.
It's super interesting. And so the pricing question I think comes up a lot, which is especially, you know, when you're an up and coming creator and you don't have a ton of experience working with brands, how did you figure out, like, did you counteroffer what they had suggested, or you were just so excited to, like, you know, that they were going to pay you money that you didn't really counter them, or like, how did you figure out how to value yourself?
Yeah, so it's super intimidating. It's super anxiety provoking because when you are a new creator, there's this misconception that you're going to like scare them away or ask for too much, or they're going to take it away. The worst they're going to say is like, sorry, we don't have the budget for that, but would love to continue if you will accept this amount, or if you'll accept free product. Right. They're never, I mean, unless you're asking for like $500,000 with 1,000 subscribers, maybe it'll be a red flag for them. But so the resource that I used was socialbluebook.com, which is a website that you can plug in your social media channels, you connect to them, and then it tells you, you know, for a sponsored Instagram post, or it gets very specific, like a YouTube integration, tells you the low, average, and the high for your amount of subscribers or followers, and depending on the platform. And I looked at what they offered me, and I saw that it was actually on the higher end of my Social Blue Book. So I just took it. Going forward, I do want to negotiate a bit more, but like you said, I was just super excited, ready to just like get into it, make a great video. And yeah, but Social Blue Book is a great resource. They did just start charging, but I believe they have like a 2-week free trial. So I would wait to use that free trial until you are in discussions with a brand, and then you can like use the free trial and look at your numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's pretty interesting. I mean, I hear that a lot, which is especially in the first couple deals, you know, there is a excitement. There's a desire also to get like case studies that you can put on your media kit, right? And be able to say like, oh, look, I've worked with these brands, right? So and to be honest, I don't see anything wrong with doing that, you know. The one piece of advice that I would give though is that, especially if part of the partnership is that you're going to allow them to use the content for paid media, you know, like in their advertisement, like you mentioned, you should definitely value that more. So if I, you know, just kind of reflecting, at least $1,000, $1,500, I would say probably for the statement of work, kind of what you described of, you know, like what you partner with them probably, because the best way to think about it, I think, is that if they had to go out and hire a production company, right, or an actor or an actress to actually star in the piece of content, right? It would cost a lot more. And so not only are you giving them great content that they can repurpose, but you have a distribution channel too, in addition to that, right? So, and it's quite niche. And so just, you know, thinking towards the future, the utility that you're bringing to the brand is more than just publishing it on your page, like you mentioned.
And I've for sure realized that since. I also think knowing, you know, if it were a bigger corporate brand that, you know, has a much larger budget, it's less, you know, intimidating to ask for more, but you should always ask for what you're worth. And I completely agree.
Well, and I really love what you said about, it's very intimidating, right? Because you, like you said, you don't want to scare them away. That oftentimes happens with job interviews too, I think. Oh yeah. When, you know, they say like, you've got the job. Yeah. Like, here's the wage. You don't want to be like, well, and counter offer, right? And then they like pull the offer out, right? And
it's not going to happen.
You know, Yeah, exactly. What I often tell creators is that I've done hundreds and hundreds of brand deals over the years, and maybe once or twice they've said, "Oh, sorry, we don't want to work with you anymore," after we counter
And
offered
then
or
it's
something, right?
like,
So,
why would you even want to work with them?
yes, exactly. That's a red flag right
Right.
there. It's like, okay, well, I don't know. I guess they're just trying to like they're looking at influencers as commodities at that point,
Yep.
right? So it's not really about a
Relationship.
valuable
Yeah, yeah.
partnership in that regard. Yeah, exactly. So super interesting. So talk me through like what your plan is for 2021. I mean, is your goal to become a full-time creator, and kind of like what steps are you thinking through to get you there?
Yeah. So to answer your first question, I I would love to be a full-time entrepreneur. So I mean, I'm never ever ever going to let go of YouTube. It's like my baby, my passion project. I love connecting with people on there. I think I just also do love I love my full-time job. I love the strategy and creativity of being sort of behind the scenes of a brand. And I would love to be able to do that for myself and for maybe a product or manifesting sort of having my own workout class one day, something like that. I think it's just listening to my community, learning about who they are. It's just forming. So I want to learn, who they are and what they would want to see from me. And then I would love to snowball from there. And then sort of how to get there would be one, stay super consistent, because ever since I started being consistent and uploading once to twice a week, my growth has been like just completely upward and consistent as well. And then also consistency and also diversifying my income. I think
Mm-hmm.
just another step to get there. So, I mean, you heard it here first. I'm actually starting a podcast as well. I'm going to be having
Oh,
it. Yeah,
awesome.
I'm going to be having it on YouTube, on my channel, and then also on the podcast platforms. So, right there is just another way of diversifying my income and just a step in that direction.
Very cool. Well, Jen, thank you so much for joining us today. I
Thank you.
think it's super inspiring how, honestly, how intentional you are about crafting brand deal proposals that are authentic, looking at your analytics. A lot of creators don't do that, especially in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really like double down on what's working and eliminate what's not.
Mm-hmm.
So that really is a formula for growth. So I really applaud you in
Thank
that.
you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So how can people follow you?
Yeah, so I'm here on YouTube at Jen Lauren. And then on both Instagram and TikTok, I'm Jen_Lauren with 2 N's. My TikTok is more for fun, I will say, but my Instagram, you'll get more of that self-care, health, and wellness content as well. And follow me there so you can get updates on when my podcast will be out, hopefully January 2021. If all goes as planned.
So I hope you enjoyed the interview. It would mean so much to me if you shared this video with another creator whom you think might find it helpful. And please subscribe, hit that notification bell to be alerted every time I upload a new video. And if you have any questions or future video ideas, leave a comment down below and you are one step closer to becoming a creator wizard. Don't forget, if you want insider tips on how to grow your business as a creator and diversify your income, click the link in the description to join our free newsletter. You'll get exclusive videos, worksheets, and insights on the influencer marketing landscape, access to special product discounts, first look at upcoming courses, and more. Before we get started, don't forget to click. Man, that thing trips me up. I can't get it. Make sure to click below for future video ideas.